Real Estate Intelligence Daily, August 17, 2026. 5 Tech Shifts Rewiring Property. Clickbait tagline: the buildings are getting smarter, the capital more selective, and tomorrow's cities are already taking shape. Disclaimer: news only. Nothing here is legal, medical, financial, or official advice. Do not treat these reports or anecdotes as advice. 1. Commercial real estate finance. The refinancing market becomes a test of asset intelligence. Commercial real estate finance enters the new week with capital available, but increasingly calibrated to property quality, borrower liquidity, and measurable operating performance, rather than the broad risk appetite that characterized the cheapest years of the previous cycle. Commercial Loan Direct's August 16th rate sheet places conventional commercial mortgages in a broad 5.55% to 8.93% range, CMBS loans between 6.36% and 8.18%, and bridge financing as high as 12.75%, illustrating why refinancing outcomes can diverge dramatically between stabilized properties and assets requiring extensive repositioning. Underwriting remains anchored to loan-to-value ratios, debt service coverage, property use, sponsor strength, and market location, while conservative life company lenders generally favor newer, high-quality assets with low leverage in major markets. This environment rewards owners who can transform leases, energy consumption, maintenance histories, tenant credit data, and capital plans into a convincing digital account of future cash flow. Because the modern financing package is becoming as much a data product as a collection of documents. Data centers and other digital infrastructure properties remain important capital magnets, exemplified by recently reported financings including a $975 million refinancing for the Gainesville Crossing Data Campus and $3 billion in construction financing for Rowan Digital Infrastructure's Texas project. The constructive long-term signal is that real estate finance is not disappearing. It is evolving into a more precise market in which transparent operations, resilient buildings, and credible human stewardship may eventually form the underwriting foundation for habitats on Earth and, one day, settlements beyond it. Commercial Indirect. Commercial Indirect. Commercial Search. 2. PropTech and AI Analytics. The experiment moves into the operating system. PropTech's defining story is no longer the novelty of generative AI, but the difficult migration from isolated demonstrations into dependable workflows spanning leasing, valuation, maintenance, tenant communication, portfolio reporting, and investment analysis. Recent industry coverage says AI adoption among property management organizations increased substantially, yet only a small minority had fully automated a process, demonstrating that fragmented records, permissions, integrations, and human approval requirements remain more consequential than the model itself. Broader market analysis similarly describes agentic systems that can triage maintenance requests, dispatch vendors, or monitor building systems, while emphasizing a wide gap between the number of commercial real estate companies piloting AI and the number reporting complete achievement of their AI objectives. The most credible near-term applications are therefore narrow and auditable, comparing lease clauses, identifying anomalies in operating statements, forecasting equipment failures, reconciling property identities across databases, and placing higher-risk recommendations before qualified people rather than allowing automation to act without supervision. Proprietary data quality is becoming a strategic moat because even a sophisticated model cannot reliably distinguish a structural opportunity from a database error when rents, occupancy, concessions, work orders, and physical condition records use incompatible definitions. This is ultimately a humanistic technology story. AI can give property professionals more time to listen to residents, resolve problems, and design welcoming places, while the same disciplined data architecture could someday help crews manage energy, water, and shelter across distant planetary communities. Tech Brains. Core Advisors. 3. Construction and development technology. Visual data becomes the new job site record. Construction technology is moving from passive dashboards towards systems that compare drawings, observe physical progress, and flag discrepancies early enough for project teams to act before rework becomes embedded in concrete and steel. Construction Dive's August technology coverage highlights contractors using digital tools to review drawings, improve safety, and reduce costs, while preserving a crucial principle that AI may identify a problem but cannot physically correct the work or assume responsibility for field decisions. The consolidation of construction data is accelerating as well. Procore's announced $845 million acquisition of Drone Deploy is intended to combine Procore's extensive collection of drawings and photographs with Drone Deploy's reported 20 trillion square feet of visual data. Investors have also directed $234 million towards 6 recently profiled construction technology startups, with robotics and artificial intelligence drawing particular attention, suggesting that the funding market is favoring tools tied to observable productivity rather than generic software promises. The operational challenge is interoperability. A camera, drone, or robotic scanner creates value only when observations are mapped to the correct plan revision, schedule activity, trade contractor, and accountable decision maker. And teams still need transparent escalation rules when machine findings conflict with field expertise. With data center electricity demand, site logistics, and utility capacity becoming larger development constraints, digital twins and visual records can support more coordinated conversations among builders, utilities, and surrounding communities. These technologies offer an optimistic but grounded model for future construction, where machines handle hazardous repetition and immense datasets, while people retain judgment, craftsmanship, and responsibility. Whether erecting a neighborhood on Earth or the first carefully monitored structures on another world. Construction Dive. Construction Dive. Construction Dive. Construction Dive. 4. Insurance and risk management. Better buildings begin to earn a better story. The property insurance market is splitting into 2 distinct realities. Competition is improving conditions for well-maintained, lower catastrophe assets, while older properties, loss-heavy portfolios, and buildings exposed to wildfire, flood, wind, or hail continue to encounter restrictive underwriting and costly coverage. Brown & Brown's 2026 Real Estate Outlook says the property market is softening for favorable risks, but general liability and umbrella costs remain under pressure because of litigation activity and large jury awards, especially in multifamily and hospitality. Insurers are consequently examining construction type, occupancy, protection systems, geographic exposure, loss history, and replacement values with greater granularity, creating an opening for sensors, digital building records, and risk analytics to make mitigation investments more visible. The scale of the hazard remains sobering. LexisNexis Risk Solutions reports that all-peril claim severity reached a 7-year high in 2025, rising 25.9% from 2024, even as claim frequency declined 23.8%, while fire and lightning severity rose sharply amid the effects attributed to the Los Angeles wildfires. For commercial owners, the emerging technology opportunity is a continuously updated resilience record that connects roof age, fire protection, water detection, defensive landscaping, maintenance completion, and catastrophe modeling to underwriting discussions without pretending that a model can eliminate uncertainty. The hopeful outcome is not a future without risk, but one in which resilient design protects occupants first, gives insurers better evidence, and helps cities direct scarce capital toward upgrades that preserve both community continuity and the long-term insurability of the built environment. Brown, Yahoo. 5. Real estate investment platforms. Access expands, but liquidity and governance matter. Digital investment platforms continue to lower the practical barriers separating individuals from private real estate, yet the industry's next stage will depend more on disclosure, governance, and realistic liquidity expectations than on frictionless mobile interfaces. CRE Daily's July 2026 comparison shows how widely platform structures differ. Listed minimums range from $10 on Fundrise and $100 on Arrive to $25,000 on CrowdStreet and approximately $100,000 on Realberry, while offerings include property shares, diversified funds, debt, preferred equity, and development exposure. That diversity can broaden participation, but it also means investors must distinguish ownership in a single property from interests in a fund, understand whether an offering is restricted to accredited investors, and recognize that redemption programs or secondary windows are not equivalent to the continuous liquidity of an exchange-traded security. Fees vary substantially by platform and offering, and mobile app availability says little by itself about asset quality, sponsor alignment, valuation practices, debt maturity, or the treatment of investors when a project underperforms. The most promising platforms will use technology to expose rather than conceal complexity, presenting comparable operating data, project updates, conflicts, capital stacks, and downside scenarios in language that respects the user's intelligence. Fractional infrastructure ownership could ultimately help communities participate in housing, energy-efficient buildings, and other productive assets, while future generations may adapt similar cooperative structures to finance remote research settlements or extraterrestrial habitats. The future can be more accessible and imaginative, but the durable platform will be the one that treats trust, oversight, and informed human choice as essential infrastructure. Credaily. Video description. 5 carefully researched stories explore the forces reshaping commercial property on August 17, 2026. Selective CRE lending, operational AI, construction intelligence, increasingly data-driven insurance, and fractional investment platforms. This approximately 10-minute briefing connects today's market evidence with a people-centered, technologically optimistic vision of resilient cities and future habitats beyond Earth. Google Trends provides tools for examining current search interest by time, location, and popularity, but the publicly retrieved page did not supply a verified real estate ranking for August 16th. The story selection therefore uses recurring, high-visibility search metadata rather than claiming an unsupported official top 5 ranking. Google. Video tags. Hashtag real estate news, hashtag commercial real estate, hashtag CRE finance, hashtag proptech, hashtag artificial intelligence, hashtag AI analytics, hashtag construction technology, hashtag contech, hashtag smart buildings, hashtag digital twins. Hashtag real estate insurance, hashtag climate risk, hashtag risk management, hashtag real estate investing, hashtag crowdfunding, hashtag fractional real estate, hashtag data centers, hashtag future cities, hashtag space architecture, hashtag real estate intelligence daily. Thumbnail A. Base. Large text, real estate's tech reset. Date strip, August 17, 2026. Visual direction. Futuristic commercial skyline, digital property grid, construction crane, understated orbital horizon. Navy, cyan, and warm gold palette. Thumbnail B. Curiosity test. Large text, AI is rewriting real estate. Small text, 5 shifts you can't ignore. Visual direction. Split composition showing a conventional office tower transforming into a luminous digital twin. Thumbnail C. Urgency test. Large text, capital just changed course. Small text, finance, AI, risk. Visual direction, high contrast financing graph flowing into a smart building, storm risk map, and construction drone. Production note, the generated concept artwork is a visual draft and contains an incorrect embedded date, so its text should be replaced with the finalized August 17, 2026 overlays above. I can produce the research